What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the E4 Explicit Podcast, and today I have Dave Manning. So David is a friend of mine that I've known for quite a while. We haven't connected in a minute, but we got our tinfoil hats on for this one, and you might want to put yours on too. Man, this one was fucking awesome. It was so fun to talk to David. He's actually the guy that I go to a lot when it comes to conspiracy theories and things that are happening. I reach out to him quite a bit, and he drops some knowledge. He does a ton of research. He's not just this crazy guy in his underwear running around in the woods with a tinfoil hat on. He kind of knows his shit pretty well. It was just fun to have these kind of conversations. I haven't had one like this in a while, and it was a refresher and a fun one to talk about some of the craziest shit on the planet. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, and please hit that bell notification so you get notified every single time we post new content. We're trying to get those subs up, so I really appreciate it if you could give me a sub. That would be awesome. Just trying to make the channel grow, and I really hope you guys are liking the content. So enjoy this episode of the E4 Explicit Podcast with my friend David Manning as we talk about all the conspiracies in the book. Peace out. This episode of the E4 Explicit Podcast is brought to you by Bravo Concealment. Bravo Concealment is known for some of the best high quality and concealable holsters on the market. Located in the great state of Texas, they offer free shipping and unlimited lifetime warranty on all of their products, and a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like the product. I've been using Bravo Concealment for my gun holsters ever since I got into guns, and the quality is by far, bar none, the top notch in the entire industry that I've seen. And right now they're doing a buy one, get one free, plus free shipping, the 30-day money-back guarantee, and a lifetime warranty. On top of that, you, my friends, will get 10% off of any product, of any purchase on their website by using Explicit10. Use the code Explicit10 and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase from BravoConcealment.com. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the E4 Explicit Podcast. I'm Corey, and today we have a friend of mine, David Manning, who is a musician and a charity activist, among 1,000 other things that he does, that he's got going on. And today we're going to be talking a lot about, get ready to put your tinfoil hat on, conspiracy theories. For the most part, we'll talk about like some other things, I'm sure, life in general and stuff like that. But David is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to this. I put in my intro video that you just saw that he's basically like kind of like my go-to guy when something crazy happens. David, how many times have I like messaged you like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like the go-to fucking person when it comes to this kind of stuff, because you're not like this crazy fucking running around in your underwear type guy, right? You're, you're very smart. You're an intelligent
that's what you
person.
think.
Yeah. Really, I can only see the top part of you right now. So, but you're very smart and you're intelligent. You don't seem, you're not like this wacko type like person, right? You're very smart with your words. And you do a lot of research before you just go and say something. But enough of me talking about what we're going to talk about. If you could just introduce yourself real quick to the listeners and watchers, that would be fucking awesome.
Well, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I'm David Manning. I hail from the land of Baltimore. That's where I was born. I was born in Baltimore City. Bounced back and forth between, my parents got divorced when I was 9. My mother moved to South Central Pennsylvania, to New Oxford. So I bounced back and forth between the city and the country, which was total culture shock. I think that helped mold me in a sense of kind of understanding different worlds and being aware of different worlds, and having to adapt to that, because you go from Maryland, Baltimore to New Oxford, Pennsylvania. It's, dude. Like it was, I mean, I was looking at these people like, what's wrong with you, as much as they were doing the same thing with me. So,
right.
About 13, I kind of started bouncing around all over the place. My life has been crazy, to say the least. It is, it's just too much to put into words, really. My childhood early on was riddled with terrible things, man. So being in those situations where, like, I've quite literally had to fight for my life a couple times as a kid, put me in a state of mind where I've always had to reflect on everything, you know. It resulted in chronic childhood PTSD, which you're scanning your surroundings constantly. You're always scanning everything. You're taking in every single detail that's going on around you, which is where I think my attachment to all this crazy wild ass conspiracy theories came to, you know. That also relates to my disgust and my contempt for, you know, bullies, which are, you know, a lot of these people. I discuss a lot when, you know, you talk about conspiracies and the subject of conspiracies. It doesn't have to be some wild, crazy, criminal situation that has all these complex layers. Like sometimes it's just as simple as somebody gets in a situation and they're attempting to commit a crime so they can benefit. It's that easy. It doesn't have to get any crazier than that. So I think that I've been able to hyper focus on that, and that's been my interest. So I've always been attached to those details, finding the bully in the room, because my life was affected so much by bullies and cruel human beings. So it just naturally adapted that way. Yeah. So you know, I've after a long road out of hell, I have established myself like in the music community. I started getting super serious with it back in like 2004. I was with the Revolution Theory, which became Vest Ascension. Vest Ascension is still together, still putting out great music. I am doing a project now with the guitarist of Vest Ascension. We've got a couple people in there, a couple guys from Periphery who are doing it. It's a music charity project. So charity has pretty much been the major part of my life now. I look for opportunities to help people wherever I possibly can. And how that relates into a conspiracy thing is I'm trying to improve my surroundings. You know, I'm constantly in a state of trying to improve the world around me. And in order to do that, you have to have the courage to look at the truth, find out what the truth is. Because, I mean, how can you fix anything if you don't know what that thing is? You have to identify it, and you have to change it. So a lot of that is focusing on the negative and the bad things, you know, and the problems in the engineering. Like, you know, why is this negative outcome happening? It's not just as much as, you know, sitting around and thinking about wild shit like aliens and, you know, probing in the butt and all those fun things I like to do on Friday night. It's it's trying to fix things and focus on them. I think that's where a lot of the problems come into play with these conspiracy theorists is they get so attached to an idea that the truth doesn't matter anymore, you know? And that's the big thing. The truth is the most important thing. The truth will set you free. The truth is how we make it out of the shitholes that we get put in. And people who try and hide the truth and cover up the truth, they tell them themselves, man, you know, because the truth doesn't change. Everything else does, but the truth doesn't. You know, you can say that shit's like, you know, relative and it can be interpreted differently. No. When I wake up at 6:30 a.m., I wake up at 6:30 a.m. period. That's the fact. And I think that there are enough relative facts or enough absolute facts in every different situation to identify whether something is a conspiracy or whether it's bullshit. So I appreciate all your kind words, and I think thank you. You think I'm sane? I don't know if I agree though.
No, you're super intelligent. You're very smart. You don't because I've talked to similar people to you that are extremely intelligent. Like, for example, I just interviewed Chris Mogg. He's the guy that was on the new documentary on Hulu called "Who Killed Epstein." He wrote about Epstein, and he wrote about was it the Bonita Express? Not the Bonita Express. What? His fucking plane.
Lolita Express.
Lolita Express. I said Bonita. Yeah, Lolita Express.
Bonita.
He wrote about.
You watched too much South Park, man.
I know. Yeah. So he wrote about the logs, and we talked about it. So then me and him started, and he's a legit like columnist, journalist, investigative for 20 years, right? He's like legit. I couldn't get him to commit to any type of thing. We talked about 9/11. But here's the thing, though, to your point of the truth is he made a great case for Tower 1 and Tower 2. I said, okay, can you explain to me building number 7? He said, what's that? I said, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Go watch a YouTube video and then
Yep.
you tell me what that. And then he's like, oh shit. Like it was kind of like an aha moment of like, I need to do some more research on this. Granted, we were not like, it was not a conspiracy podcast. It was like, we were just talking about Epstein, but then we started obviously had to go into the conspiracy a little bit because there's a lot of gray area around his life.
Right.
But it was fascinating because I'm like, how did you not know that about building number 7? There's literal footage of it. And
that right there,
yeah, it's crazy.
That right there is how they maintain power and control. That right there.
What?
You know, how did you not even know about building 7?
Right.
You know, that's how far advanced, you know, some of these people are with how they keep wraps on shit. That's obvious stuff. That was on major news networks. You know, it's a total part of the problem, you know, when it comes to the nefarious forces out there. It's not just, you know, the evil people pulling the strings, dude. It is the other half of it are the citizens who do nothing. They do nothing to contribute to society. And these people need like a metaphoric slap in the face and a wake up call, you know, because it's like the world will be burning around them. And it's just something that makes me so angry. They don't even want to talk about the shit. I remember when I was younger, I would always be in these social situations and, you know, we'd be at parties and shit and whatever else. And I would start in, you know, like when I was younger on whatever conspiracy, JFK was my big thing. And, you know, the wiping out of the Native Americans when I was like 19, 20, I'm 43 now. So, you know, I would get on these like shit kicks, man, where I'd be, you know, a little drunk and I'd start running my mouth. And it finally got to a point where people would look at me and be like, they get that look on their face like, oh God, like he's at it again. Like, oh my God. And it's not like I was ever invasive or obnoxious and I would try and control people's opinions. Like I would just talk about it, man, to create an awareness. And that is the problem. That's why these people are able to accomplish the evil shit that they can, because good people do and say nothing. And that has to change. Like that's got to change.
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, well, how does a journalist not know about building?
That's what I was completely taken aback. I'm like, wait, I was like, Chris, you're meaning to tell me in 2022 you have never seen the Building 7 video or yet even heard of it? And he's like, no. And I'm like, damn, like that's, you got to go open that can of worms because like there was no, and I was like, and he's like, did a building hit it? I'm like, no, neither tower collapsed onto it completely to knock it down. And if it did, it would have got knocked down when it got hit. It didn't get knocked down until after the 2 towers fell. So it's just like, and that's where a lot of that shit was held in building number 7. So it's like, anyway, but not to go down 9/11.
It was just a blip on the radar too. It was crazy.
It really was, man.
I think that's a good one to get people on. You know, that's very smart of you to bring up Building 7. That's
because no one can say anything about it. No, there's no answer that someone can tell me because his part of the Twin Towers made me think, okay, yeah, like actually that makes really good sense. I've never thought of it in the way that he presented it. But then when I say Building 7 and you can't say anything or you haven't seen it, then everything that you just said goes out the window.
Right.
Because you cannot explain a building, a standalone building falling in demolition style. You can't.
Right. Now, see, here's another thing. Like, I think this is something else that people don't pay attention to. There's obviously more shit with the 9/11 situation than meets the eye. I think pretty much everybody that has a rational state of mind knows this at this point. So here's another thing that I think occurs with the cover up of information. And I think this is my issue with the libertarian community is, you know, they think that we should have zero foreign policy. We shouldn't be at conflict with anyone in the world at all, ever. Well, I'm sorry, that's just not realistic. That's just not how the world works. So I think, put it this way, and it's speculation and it's a possibility is all I'm saying, that in situations like this, like 9/11, when there's obviously the truth is not being told and there are missing pieces, you know, and Building 7 was just a quick blip on the radar for the media, when it should have been like, well, it should still be on the news because we still have no explanation for it.
Right.
Sometimes I think it's possible that there are covert operations going on. and there are enemies of the state, and we can't allow certain information to be public. So they have to send out a disinformation story, um, for safety purposes and for protection and security. Now, you know, there is a line there that should not be crossed, and that's where
Sure.
Edward Snowden comes into play as far as like mass surveillance occurs. But you know, a- maybe sometimes there are more than meets the eye, and it's not our own government against us. Maybe these things just can't be
Hmm.
exposed. The left hand not knowing what the right hand's supposed to be doing. That's just speculation, but
That's a
it's
good
something to
point,
think
though. It's a
about.
good way to think about it versus being like always the government trying to do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think
Good.
I was gonna say, I think you have good people mixed in. I think it's a very small group of people doing the evil shit out there. I think that you have a lot of good people mixed in to these institutions. But again, I think it all goes back to good people staying silent, not doing anything about it.
Sure.
Sometimes I think about my life, man. Sometimes I'm like, man, what if I could go back, do some things differently, and get involved in the Justice Department, you know, and not listen to my superiors and make an arrest of someone that caused a major shitstorm,
Right.
to make
Yeah.
sure it was legitimate and it was real, but just to bring the attention in. I would totally take myself out, ruin my career, whatever, to make that happen.
Right.
So
Like a Snowden type situation.
yes, yep, kind of like that. But instead of giving it to journalists, like, see, we need some rogue law enforcement that. And, I'm not saying in overthrow of the government, I'm not suggesting anything like that, but people who are just going to prosecute crimes instead of ignoring them. Like, I consistently see this just happened here, right outside my house. I was walking down the street, and I saw this guy laying on the corner. This really happened. He's laying there, and I'm watching this woman. This dude's like senior citizen. He's an older guy. He's getting kicked, and she's kicking him in the face and just kicking and kicking.
What?
And I'm walking up. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So there's like four people just standing watching this shit on the corner. As I'm walking up, a cop is coming from the other direction, from the other street. And I just stood there, observed, watched the situation, trying to witness it and pay attention to every detail just in case he had to get statements or whatever. So they break him apart. Guy gets up. He's bleeding out of his forehead. Like blood is all over his face. Dude's about, I don't know, 60, 65, something like that. Maybe late 50s. But there's this woman. She's always screaming and freaking out, like making noise. She's always wasted, drunk, very vile person. And he says her name and he commands her to get away. So I'm thinking, all right, he's separating him. He's breaking it up. He's going to do something about it. And he doesn't do anything. I stand there for like 2 minutes, and she starts to walk toward the guy again, and he says her name. He's like, "Now you get out of here." And that's when I stopped, and I was like, "All right, wait a second." Sorry, excuse me. I was like, "Wait a second here. I just witnessed an aggravated assault, and you're telling me that you're letting her go? You're not charging with anything? You're not even detaining her?" And the cop immediately, it's like he didn't even realize I was standing there watching him. He just like flipped on me and snapped. I was like, this is his words verbatim. "We live in a liberal state. What am I supposed to do?"
What?
And yeah, I was just like kind of like dumbfounded by that. And
You
I
witnessed
said
an
back to him,
attack.
I was
What
like,
the fuck are you
what
talking
the
about?
fuck does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Now, politically around here, as far as like the local politics are concerned, they are, how do I put this? The mayor is, I don't want to say he's not supportive of police, but they don't enforce a lot of crimes here, that they should be enforcing. And again, now you can see why. Like, I mean, I have fought to clean up my area, dude. I watch 15-year-olds deal drugs, like, but they tell me I can't have a weapon. I mean, it's the most astonishing thing.
Right.
Or like you're not allowed to have certain tasers in Frederick City. Like it's most ridiculous shit, but they won't arrest people who are like dealing drugs right in
Right.
front of you. It was a
Right.
heroin epidemic. Like, dude, down the street, someone would overdose literally every other day, like less than a block away from here. I'm like, you wonder why the shit is so bad. Uh, so he ended up like, we ended up getting to like a verbal confrontation. I ended up snapping out, I lost control, and I had to leave the situation. I ended up calling him later and apologizing to him, because I do understand it's not easy to be in law enforcement right now, and I'm not against these guys at all, but at the same time, I had to clarify. I'm like, you have crimes codes, and you should have done something about this.
Right.
So the reason I bring this up is because this is what happens on a greater scale, on a greater level, is that because of the pressure, the political pressure that these people deal with. You know how it is at a job and offices, and who the popular people are and who the popular people aren't. And you don't want to be the fly in the ointment, and you don't want to make waves. So these people, while they're good people and they're not corrupt and crooked, they're not doing the shit that they should be doing.
Right.
Like some of my favorite moments that I see in video are these cops that arrest their superior officers for driving drunk.
Those are great.
Yeah, beautiful.
Their reactions are priceless. They're like, wait, what? You're arrested? It's like, yeah, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's the only way that the social dialogue is going to change is if we change it. And if unfortunately, nobody wants to sacrifice anything. Like, yes, you're going to lose friends. Yes, you're going to be unpopular. Yes, you're going to have to deal with a lot more stress in your life than if you were to just stay silent. But if you want a higher quality of life, you have to do it. I noticed that a lot of the people that complain about the quality of life and how life is, they aren't doing a damn thing to try and make it any better. They're waiting for somebody else to show up and magically do it. It just doesn't work that way. Actually, you know what? Hold on. I think that's how America was birthed, wasn't it? Like, everybody just laid around and they didn't do shit, and magically America formed one day out of nowhere.
No.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, you're right.
Oh, you're being sarcastic. I was like, no, I don't think so. I wasn't there, but well,
are you high?
Yeah, are you high? Well, don't you think though it's kind of like almost too far gone because we've allowed the government to get so big? I mean, I talked to a lot of professors. One of my favorites is an economist. His name's Anthony Davies. I've had him on 4 times now. He's fucking brilliant. He's a libertarian, but he's very smart on both spectrums. And his podcast partner, James Harrigan, is a historical, like historian, a philosophing. He's a philosopher historian. I don't fucking know. He knows about history, and he philosophizes. He philosophizes a lot. Both super fucking smart professors at like Ivy League colleges, nice. Or universities, but like they are all like, big government is not good, and this is what happens when you have big government versus small government. And my question to you is, conspiracy theory aside, whatever, like, don't you think it's almost too far gone now to where, like, if we did try to step up to the man or to the government, it's just too big now? You're talking about Maryland, which I've lived in the majority of my life. Republican governor, but he's very democratic in his ways. It's one of the top 3 states in the country. Right? He's not. He's balloted a Republican. He's truly not. But you talk about guns. I mean, don't even get me started. I mean, out here in Colorado, I can go to fucking Bass Pro Shops with my driver's license and buy a pistol in an hour. Like, you can't do that in Maryland. It's strict as New York, New Jersey, and California. It's absolutely terrible. But then they have these back laws where it's like, you buy a handgun, great. Here's a 10-round magazine that we'll mail to you or we'll give to you in the gun shop. But you're not allowed to own any high capacity mags, even like a 15-round mag. But I can drive 20 minutes in Virginia, buy a 30-round mag from my Glock 19, bring it back into Maryland, completely legal. Anyways, My question to you, back to the question, is, don't you think that the government and just that whole thing is just too big now for us to kind of fight against it? Not so much have a revolution, but do those little things that are actually going to make a difference.
So there's a couple different angles to that. One is, even if that were the case, I'm too stubborn to quit. Like I don't care if it's possible or if it's not possible. My focal point is I'm going to do what's right.
Right.
And I don't care if that means losing or not. If I had to say one way or the other, I would say absolutely. And I say that because human beings are capable, and we've forgotten this somewhere along the lines. Human beings are capable of miracles, of divine things. And human beings are the most beautiful in their moments of darkness, when the world is closing in. And we see this throughout history. That's when we shine, is when we're in the worst places. So yeah, I think it's absolutely possible. And one of the avenues, I guess, as far as the mechanism that makes that possible, other than the human spirit, 2 words: Second Amendment. That's why. You look at places like Canada and Europe and all the crazy shit that's going on. The tyrannical control of their governments. I'm convinced. My opinion is because they're disarmed.
Right.
Maybe in certain places, not in entirety, but certainly not like here. And that's why they want to hammer on gun control here so bad. It's this simple. Okay. Baltimore City is a terror to go into. Okay. It was bad when I lived there. I left, I was right across the street from Patterson Park, dude. I used to walk my dog, and
Terrible.
I mean, see some wild shit. I'd get off of work, walk my dog. It was just crazy. That was years ago. Now, like the last time I was there, I went to see a show, and it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. And I was walking down Eastern Avenue, and I decided to leave because I knew what was happening around me. Obviously, living in the city, like I know what the shit looks like when you're getting ready to get robbed or whatever. And I saw it, and I was like, no, I'm fucking out of here, man. Now, this is in Eastern Avenue, is in like the district that I was in was right next to Little Italy. This is a decent part.
Yep.
And you can't even walk around out there anymore, dude. Like even in the nicer places. So I haven't been back since. Strict gun control laws, the strictest gun control laws in Maryland. Okay. And I mean, look at their crime wave. It's that simple. I don't understand why this is even a discussion with people. It just doesn't make sense. You got a lot of the people that it just blows my mind, man. Some of the same groups of people that say things like, well, do you think you deserve a jet, or do you think you deserve a tank because the government has one? Should you have one? Well, first off, the answer to that is fucking yes, I do. Okay. And yeah, now it's just amazing how all of these people seem to have changed their position with the Ukraine situation. Like I'm like, weren't you people just like against guns?
Look at COVID. Look what happened to COVID. Remember when COVID had the fucking gun sales were crazy. When they talk about locking down the government, I mean, videos in California of like lines around the block around, and it's funny because all the gun shop owners would get interviewed, and they're like, "Yo, these people are pissed because now they have to wait a week to get their gun because of laws they voted to put in." It's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah,
it fucking blows my mind.
See that I expect those people to be who they are. I expect them consistently do what they do. Again, It goes back to good people staying silent. Right. Like good people have to tell these people, hey guys, I'm sorry, but you're fucking crazy and you don't know what you're talking about. Right. So let the more intelligent people at least listen to us. Okay. At least listen to what we have to say, instead of as soon as you hear the word gun, you freak the fuck out. And you're like, ow. I've got gun. No. Okay. Like programmed response.
Yeah. No, it's true, dude. It's 2 things from that is, one is I think the language of gun control is completely far off. I talked to Alan Lichman, who's he's famous for he has guessed the president since 1980. Like he's been right.
Okay. I know who you're talking about, actually.
Yeah. I interviewed him, and he's very anti-gun. So we had this huge kind of like debate on like gun, and he called like a 30 round drum. He called it like a 30 round he said
weapon of war.
He said like just like the terminology. And it's just like, my biggest thing with gun control, one of them is the people that are trying to keep guns out of lawful citizens don't even understand certain terminology of things that they're trying to ban, if that makes
Right.
sense. So
That's what they're good at. See,
yeah,
that's the one thing that I will give them credit for. They're good at, dude. It's amazing because they're able to create these brilliant phrases, and
that
how they
don't even
spin these
exist.
words. Yeah, and it makes it sound like this horrible, terrible thing. It's the Jedi mind trick, man. They're able to trick the person.
Yep.
Where they use these words, and then you start shaking your head like, "Green, oh, well, yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
fucking terrible. Obviously, that's bad."
Yeah, it
Yeah,
sounds terrible.
yeah,
It's just like two people can't have a legit conversation about something like that if both parties aren't talking about the same thing. Is my point of that. And then the other thing is when I've been to Texas, Arizona, even here in Colorado, Utah, all these places that are, I mean, some of the most free, Rhode Island, some of the most free places on in the country when it comes to gun control. Nobody's fuck with anybody. It's like there's
right.
no road. I mean, there is road rage, but it's not like in New York or whatever. It's like, yo, when someone cuts somebody off in fucking Arizona, and I've cut people off, people have cut me off. It's always right. No big deal because everybody knows everyone's strapped, and nobody wants to fuck with anybody.
Right.
And then also the way they take care of their criminals in those states is, I mean, Arizona is one thing. There was a sheriff that was there. He used to run the chain gang like back in the day, and the correctional facility was
You're talking about Joe.
outdoors.
What's his name? Joe Jackson? Is that it? Sheriff Joe?
Maybe it was.
I think I know who you're talking about.
He just retired. He just retired.
Yeah. I love that dude. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Hero.
he fucking had like, it was like outdoor shit. So like no criminal, there was like low crime because nobody wanted to fucking get in trouble and go work and literally hit fucking stone outside, chained up in black and whites, all day in the Arizona summer. So it's just like, it just made sense to me. And it's like these, yeah, okay, Colorado, yeah, they had Aurora, they have Columbine, they have mass shootings. I get that. But when it comes to like crime, Colorado Springs, where I'm at right now, forget about it. Aside from like a couple of transient stuff downtown, this is probably one of the safest places in the fucking country. And it's like, Matt, everybody's strapped. It's a hella conservative area, which I didn't know, but they're surrounded by military bases around here. It's just, I don't know. It's a different world. I just moved from DC, which is the complete fucking opposite. Dude. But anyway,
I'm looking to get out of this area very soon, relatively
go to
soon.
Virginia, man.
I was thinking of that. I was thinking about Virginia. I was thinking of West Virginia, as far as locally, but I think like not tomorrow or super soon, but soon enough, relatively. I want to leave this whole area. Like I just want to get out of here. I was actually, it's funny because in 2013 I was deciding between Frederick, Maryland or Colorado Springs. Those are I had narrowed down my two decisions because Colorado. I mean, dude, the Colorado runs their state like beautifully, man.
Dude,
it's state parks are just immaculate. Like,
it's really
dude,
nice.
education system is great.
It's nice.
It's gorgeous. So I'm thinking that probably would be my next move.
Yeah. Well, that's what we did. We looked at, okay, where could we live? We looked at Utah, Colorado, and we just one by one went to each place. Colorado, which is the first place we went to. And then we're like, yeah, we could live here. I will say, so I've had 3 open heart surgeries. So my lung capacity is not the highest. And my heart is always working harder than like a normal person's. So my house right now where I'm sitting, the elevation right now is 7,500 feet. Bro, that's fucking high as shit, dude. Like Pikes Peak is right outside my window. That's at 14,500, basically 14,000. So like you are like either at sea level, if not below it in Frederick. I mean, and being an East Coast person my whole life, it is a fucking game changer, dude. When you come out here and you're at this high elevation, Denver, we're thinking about even moving to Denver because even though it's a mile high, it's still 2,500 feet lower. And I have no problem breathing out there. I mean, I got one of these fucking things, man. These like fucking oxygen things.
Wow.
They're a joke. They don't work, but it's definitely interesting. You go on a hike here and you're like, damn, man, like it's going up the stairs. You're like, fuck, it takes a while to get acclimated, but it's fucking beautiful. And they leave you alone, dude. I've seen like 10 cops since I've been here. But they have a great respect and great relationship with police and firefighters and all that stuff. It's just there's not a lot going on. So they're just like, it's a really cool place, man. You would fucking love it here, actually. Anyways.
Yeah, definitely interested. I like Charleston, South Carolina a lot too, dude.
Charlotte's good too. I lived in Charlotte for 2 years.
Never been there.
North Carolina is the real deal, bro. They're also another place.
Dude, what is it? I heard actually, is it Charlotte or Raleigh? It's just become like, dude, it's like the size of Los Angeles population wise.
Charlotte. Yeah, it's the number 1 or number 2 in finance now. It's where Bank of America, it's like a big hub for that. It grew it's huge. It grew out of craziness. Even when I lived there, before I lived there, it was whatever. But even when I lived there, I mean, it was fucking booming, dude. It's a big city. I did not even know it had skyscrapers, and it does. Like it's a cool spot, man.
I think I'm over cities.
Yeah, no, we lived in the suburbs. We're never gonna live in like a city. We're gonna live in like the burbs and stuff like that. But I mean, Colorado Springs is not a fucking city, bro. Like,
right, yeah, no.
This place is not a city. But anyway, talk about conspiracy theories. Do you ever been to the Denver airport?
No, I haven't, but
heard about it?
I know all about it. Yeah, that's some wild shit, man.
Bro. You know the horse?
Yeah.
You know the story behind it?
So are you talking about the mural?
No. There's this giant bucking blue Bronco that's like outside of the airport when you drive in.
Okay.
Its eyes are red. It's fucking terrifying. But what's crazier is the creator of it, the artist, they commissioned him to do this. It took him like 2 years to make this fucking statue. He makes it. They're about to unveil it. It falls on him and kills him. Okay. Yeah. So he's dead.
What a bad day.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So like, it's just like all this lore around it. But when you're driving in and the Bronco's always following you with its eyes, dude, they're like, you can Google it. It's literally red as fuck. It's like this mic. It's like red eyes at night. It's terrifying. It's fucking crazy, dude. And then on top of that, when you're in the airport, obviously, they have all the Illuminati and the underground stuff at the airport and the murals.
The underground stuff, man. That's
they're making fun of it here at the airport. They have murals of like, hey, welcome to Denver. Don't forget to check out our UFOs and our underground stuff. And the Illuminati's here. And they're literally like putting it right in front of your face. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think like one of the things that they do masterfully well is they hide it right in plain sight, like right in front of you. It's amazing to me that people miss it. I think they've done this wonderfully with the church.
Catholic,
oh yeah, totally. I think that the Catholic Church was invented to completely devour and destroy the true roots of Christianity. I think that's what its purpose was. And I think, evil loves useful idiots. So I think a lot of these people, like, you get into these conversations and these subjects and you start dissecting them, and it's not black and white. Like every priest in the Catholic Church knows about the conspiracy. Like, no, you've got some people, it's sprinkled, it's peppered, it's a gray area,
right.
Where some people are really about the priesthood. They really believe that shit. I think the minority is corrupt and evil. Some people, like, I don't know, I want to hook up with the child, and I guess that's a good place to do it, from what I hear.
Right.
How they get away with that shit, I have no idea.
They move them when they get in trouble. They move them to different places.
Over 50,000 recorded cases. Like, that's on the records.
That's insane.
But if you look at the trail that this has left behind, dude, this connects in with the Shroud of Turin. This whole subject, this has altered my life. This was a big changing point in my life.
What's it called?
The Shroud of Turin. Okay, it's referred to, and the Sudarium of Oviedo. That's the other thing. So what the Shroud of Turin is, it is alleged the burial cloth of Christ. I started to go down this rabbit hole. I guess it was like 2008 or 9, somewhere in that period of time. Now, I went through this period of time, man, where, like, I'm going to have to go way back for this. Childhood. I mentioned that my childhood was very, very abusive, physically, sexually. Um, it was a nightmare. My father literally tried to kill me, almost succeeded. Um, so I grew up in horror. My parents divorced when I was 9, and my mother, and I got it from both ends. Like my mom, she didn't do the things my father did, but she was just as bad.
Like
Uh,
mentally?
oh, dude, mental. Well, there was the physical abuse, but mentally, like
Right.
she was hard to deal with, harder to deal with than he was
Right.
sometimes. Um, so she met my stepfather, who was a saint. I had no idea what like love or peaceful life was like until he showed up. I loved this man. Um, so I meet him. He's really involved in the church. So I start going to church.
I have a bunch of holsters from Bravo, and one of them is the inside the waistband holster. So this goes inside the waistband if you want to conceal carry. Also, swap it out here, outside the waistband. So this outside the waistband is actually like hella thin, and you can see kind of like how close to the body it can get. You can take this on the range. You can probably conceal this and comfortably do it with a hoodie over top or whatever. If you want to open carry, it's up to you. They also send out mag pouches, right? So you can throw in an extra mag. You're going to the range. You don't have to unload and reload every single time. You got a little hollow point moment. They come in handy if you're on the range, like I said, or if you're concealed carry and you're one of those people that are gotta have a lot of mags or whatever. Whatever your cup of tea is. They also send you these really cool pamphlets. They go into great details in these brochures of how to wear things properly, safety mechanisms, and all the features that all of these holsters have as well. So they really focus on educating their customers, which when it comes to guns, safety and education are number one. They don't have any left-handed holsters except for the Glock 19. I'm a lefty, but the right-handed holsters are so dope and they're so comfortable and concealable that I don't really give a shit. Just learn how to shoot with my right hand. And right now they're doing a buy one, get one free, plus free shipping, the 30-day money-back guarantee, and a lifetime warranty. On top of that, you, my friends, will get 10% off of any product, of any purchase on their website by using Explicit10. Use the code Explicit10 and you'll get 10% off your entire purchase from BravoConcealment.com.
And I didn't really know a whole lot about it, even though my father, ironically, was big time in the church. Used to be a pastor, was a deacon, whatever. I guess it goes with the whole outfit. It's just wild. He was involved in child's education, worked for the government. But yeah, I really connected with him, man. And I started to see the culture of the Christian church close up, and I got really involved in it. It was something that helped me greatly. And I got to a point where, our church had split apart. This was a Pentecostal church of like 1,200, 1,300 members, pretty big church for the area. And pastor got remarried. There was a huge split, all this politics, all this crazy stuff. So our youth group got down to like nothing. Long story short, we built it back up. Church started flourishing again. And this youth pastor comes to me and he says, God told me to tell you that you have to take a step down. You can still attend church. I'm like, I got no explanation. I got nothing out of it. I'm like, dude, what? So the point is, it was like, dude, I was like devastated by this. So just once again, I just saw more corruption. And at that point in time, I walked away from not just church, but from God in general. And it was never that I doubted God's existence. I just hated it. And I would verbalize that sometime. I reached such a dark point, fast forward all the way into, I will say 2006, 2007. I reached such a dark point of depression and alcoholism. And I mean, like, dude, I was this close to ending my own life, like this close. Every day I would wake up, I would go downstairs, I would try and create some music, and I would think, like, is today going to be the day? Is this it? Like, 'cause I don't want to do this shit anymore. I was filled with just hatred at God. And I realize now, fast forwarding, that it wasn't God that I hated or God I had a problem with, because I understand the relationship with God now, where before I didn't. it was human beings that I had a problem with. But so I come to the Shroud of Turin, and like there's nothing I could really find in life that clicked for me, where it was like, okay, because I'm analytical, dude. I need something.
Yeah.
And there's just, I mean, just think about the bullshit. That's a whole nother rabbit hole, like the interpretations of the Bible and different sects and subsects and the Gnostics and all Bishop Irenaeus in second century. And why did he throw out these books? Like, there's so much more to it. But you come to the Shroud of Turin, and I stopped and I'm like, oh, wait a minute here. I personally believe that it is the scientific evidence of not only the existence of Christ, but also the resurrection. I believe it 100%. And I have no doubt in my mind. The reason I believe that, and it's, again, a lot of people, man, they haven't done the in-depth research. So basically the Shroud of Turin, this thing, you can go down the rabbit hole of the history of it. There's a lot of information out there, but it ended up in the hands of the Catholic Church. So back in the 70s, they organized what was called STURP. It's the Shroud of Turin Research Project. They analyzed this thing, did all kinds of testing, and it found a lot of crazy stuff. And the more they tested it, the more fascinating the testing became, because they couldn't explain what was on this or why this imprint of Christ was on this thing. You really have to look into all this information, because it's not anything I can sum up quickly.
I pulled it up. The image is fucking crazy. I'm actually I've never done this before in the podcast. Let me share my screen. This is a new thing for me, David.
Oh.
I'm sharing my screen right now. So this is the Shroud of Turin, and basically it is, I'm going to read this real quick. The Shroud of Turin, also known as the Holy Shroud, is a length of linen cloth bearing the negative image of a man. Some describe the image as depicting Jesus of Nazareth and believe the fabric is the burial shroud in which he was wrapped in after crucifixion. And this is multiple images of
that one.
Yeah.
That one right there.
Yeah.
That you just had on. Go
this
back.
One?
Nope. It was a little bit lighter. That is one that is a picture that's like unedited, as far as like that's kind of what it looks like, the photograph of it. That looks like the real copy of the shroud. Now, here's the thing. So just a couple quick points. So basically they went through all of this testing, and the carbon dating came out, that it came through medieval times. So
what?
The scientific community, now this is where it gets complicated. There's too many things that don't make sense about it. There was a guy, Ray Rogers, who was on the Shroud of Turin research project. He was a big skeptic, and he didn't believe it. And as soon as the carbon dating came out, he was like, all right, so there is no way that this thing is real. Carbon dating has proved it. That's that. But, you have all these other anomalies, like they found pollen on it that only exists within a 60 square mile radius of Jerusalem. There is human blood. Dude, so many, the tri-bone pattern weave that's in it comes from a certain era of time. There's just endless things that support that this was created and exists in the time of Christ. Now, here's the thing. So again, the Catholic Church, if you look at where they cut, okay, now Ray Rogers, I bring him up. He was actually, yeah, I got something on him right here. So it was I think he was a chemist. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Ray Rogers was a chemist, and thermal analysis, and he ended up writing a paper, completely changing his opinion and altering his opinion. And this is what did it for me about the carbon dating, because where they cut it was a repair was made, and you can see the pattern weave is different, which would have come from 13th century in that era of time. So they cut out a part where they did the carbon dating that was cut from a repair that was made. It wasn't the actual burial cloth. Now, he wrote a paper on this right before he died. He unfortunately died of cancer before he was able to publish it, completely changing. And he was, like I said, he was one of the biggest skeptics. So now You have, dude, you also have the Sidarium of Oviedo, which is the face cloth of Christ, which completely matches the shroud with a lot of the same elements that are on it. There's just too many things that support it when you go down the rabbit hole. So make sure I got the documentaries, dude. I download all this information. I have terabytes of data that I keep just in case. Just in case, you know, like
Yeah,
the
never
Library of
know.
Alexandria burns. But plus, like, I also, like, later in life, I've got plans for that stuff. Yeah, so right as soon as this starts to become a subject in the media again, what does the Catholic Church do? They spray it and they seal it. Now they sprayed it because there's like some kind of parasitic treatment. It's like certain bugs and shit. I mean, when you're in an air sealed basic vault, I don't know what kind of parasites or bugs are going to be able to get in there to devour the cloth, but they ended up spraying it anyway. And when this happened, that will completely destroy any chance of any further carbon dating.
Whoa.
So in true form, the Catholic Church has made it impossible to find the truth out through carbon dating.
How did they get it?
So a family donated it to them. I can't remember the name of the family. I wish I could remember all this.
Well, who found this?
I forget how the family ended up with it, but it's like patchy through history. The earliest record that we have of it, I think, is 11th century. And the thing is, this thing has been considered a relic through its entire existence. It's been protected and moved. So you saw those marks in it, like the black marks. Those are fire marks from a fire, because damage occurred. There was a fire that occurred, and like they freaked out and had to remove it from this fire. So that's how much care was given into this relic.
It
We don't have anything.
It was found by a knight.
Huh?
It was found by a knight. Knight Geoffrey de Charny discovered it. He's a French knight in the small town of Liry in north central France in the mid 1350s.
Yeah, right.
So the fuck?
Yeah. So there we are again with the Templars, you know, Templar Knights and the whole, you know, I don't know, the Rennes-le-Château conspiracy. Have you ever read the book Holy Blood, Holy Grail?
No.
Dude, that's a rabbit hole. You got to get into that, man. They talk about the bloodline of Christ, like Christ having an actual bloodline. I don't know what I believe about that. Not then there's all this other stuff that connects to that story about how Christ ended up in India, and that's where like the missing years are from, because there's a lot of dude, I went on like a good 2-year rabbit hole on this one, like in-depth research.
Whoa.
You know, just because, I mean, I want to know what the truth is. Again, I want to know the truth. That's
Right.
all. Life is a fascinating, crazy thing, and I just want to know as much as I can. Like,
Right.
I don't look at life as some simple, fleeting thing, man. Like, we are self-generated organisms. The whole system is baffling to me.
Stardust.
Yeah. And I mean, I've gone down like all the religious rabbit holes, dude. I've done it all. Anything that's out there. I've even looked into a couple cults. You know, I'm like, yeah, I might join that shit this week. See what's up. You know, and fucking, you know, pulling some weird underwear that shelters my body and fucking get weird.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, what's his name? Jim Jones, man. Jim Jones it up.
Oh yeah, that guy, dude. Oh man. Dude.
Well, I know I know the Templars from the video game Assassin's Creed.
Right. See, what they do is they only talk about major subject points, you know, right. And then they bury off the rest, or they twist certain facts or spin certain things. Like, for instance, the carbon dating on this, you know. Yeah, the carbon dating came out the way that it did and whatever else, and that contradicted everything else. But nobody thought to take it any further than that and ask, why did the radiocarbon dating come out this way? Right. Oh, well, it's because they cut out from a fucking repair that was made and not another piece of the cloth.
Damn, that's fucking,
you know, dude, I think the greatest conspiracy in existence is the cover-up of Christ and the cover-up of creation. I am 100% firmly believe this. Like, I have come to a point of clarity in the last year of my life with what all of this is, at least to a degree. I mean, I don't want to sound like I know everything, but like the major points, I think I've clarified, and I've spent an entire lifetime researching this shit, trying to figure this out. And I think that like that's a big one, dude. That was, I was talking about earlier about the depression and the darkness and coming to this point and understanding this and having such a sense of completion and calm, because I feel like the human knows inherently when it reaches a moment of truth.
Right.
You connect to it. It's an energetic thing. It's an emotional experience that you have where it's a sense of completion. And when I came to this, I don't know, I knew it, man. It clicked in my being that, wow, this is it.
Right.
So then I started asking the questions like, why would they want to cover this up? Why would, who, what, when, why, or the Socratic method, just going down the line of all these possibilities.
Right.
And because, there is pure evil in existence. It's that simple. There has to be, man. I mean, we live in a world where hideous shit goes on, man. Like horrible, terrible things that people don't even want to talk about. I mean, like, the Catholic Church alone is just a monster story, man. Like this, I don't understand for the life of me how this organization still exists,
Right.
But they're trying to cancel people like Joe Rogan and shit. Like, it's what the fuck? It's mind blowing to me, man.
Dude,
I think they don't want the responsibility of what it's going to take to change the world. They just want to make shit up and bitch about shit.
Right. Really this thing is kind of crazy, actually. Now you got me fucked up. Because I'm not a religious person, like, at all, dude. Like, I literally don't believe in God. I believe that there are I'm just joking. I believe that there's something. I just don't know what it is.
Right.
But this is crazy. I found on history.com. So legit, right? The History Channel.
Legit enough
To where what I'm about to read is I would believe this. So it's a 14-foot linen cloth, first of all. But here's 7 facts about this thing. This is crazy. It first surfaced in medieval France, like I mentioned before, with that knight in the 1350s. Number 2, the Pope soon declared it was not an actual historic relic. Catholic Church. Yep. Number 3, De Charny, who was the knight who found it, his granddaughter was excommunicated for selling it to the Italian royals, right? Okay. Number 4, before the shroud moved to Turin, it was almost lost in fire, like you said.
Yep.
Number 5, there have been many scientific studies about its authenticity. In 1970s, the Shroud Research Project is what you talked about. Blah, 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 blah. In 1988, one scientist group said their analysis showed it originated 1260 to 1390.
Yep.
But
carbon dating, yep.
In 2018, they said their analysis showed it originated between 300 BC and AD 400, which is crazy. And then this is the craziest one. Oh, no. Number 6, it's protected bulletproof glass. In 2020 is when they announced the light of devastation of COVID. Blah, blah, blah. They made it into a digital version of it. So now it's digitized and it's on, hence how we can, it's like a digitized version on it. Now it's not just in its own like bulletproof glass casing. It's digitized. So it's like actually like it's never going to go away.
Right.
Damn, bro, that's fucking wild, bro.
Yeah. Yep. Dude, again, like I have to say, man, Ray Rogers, the chemist, who, dude, the truth was more important to him than anything, that he's the entire reason because that this thing turned around the way that it did, because he had the courage to come out and say what he did and say, hey, guess what? I was wrong about this. Here's the truth. That is symbolic of how these situations go, and he took the time to actually do something about it. Number 2, he wrote a paper and tried to get this publicized, like this, the new information. And again, they're burying this. Like, why is this not, major news?
I've never heard of this in my life.
It makes, right. Exactly. It's people live in a world like I can't live in a world any differently than I do now. Like I don't understand how people walk through life completely unaware and blissfully ignorant. Like I just I don't get it.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't know how they do it. Um, and when shit like this is there right beneath the surface, because I think maybe they like to live in the lie.
Well, it's something. It's like like you said earlier, like people want other people to do shit and not them, right? So it's like
Right.
kind of like out of sight, out of mind. The other thing I read in here I forgot to mention was, where is it? Um, where's the scientist part? Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
This is fucking crazy to me. Oh, in 2018, researchers used forensic technologies, or well, techniques, to argue the blood stains on the shroud couldn't have come from Christ. They argued that, but I don't know what the fuck that means. So there is blood on it, but
Yes.
they're saying that it did not come from Christ. And then when I open up that over the past,
I love how as soon as you disprove one of their earlier talking points, they have a new talking point.
right?
That's further discredits it.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about the truth and transparency. Dude, when you look at the whole subject of this, dude, after I have two documentaries in mind. I'll send you the information of. I think one of them you can see on YouTube.
Right.
If not, I can send you another. I'll put a flash drive and mail it or whatever. Or I guess I suppose I could upload it. I don't know if it's
You just put it
copyright
to my Google
though.
Drive.
Oh yeah. I could do that too. I never use my Google Drive.
I use it all the fucking time.
Yeah, I probably should. But yeah, it's dude, it fills in so many of the blanks so quickly. It was a life-changing experience for me. It altered the entire direction of my life. And
This thing that we're talking about.
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, from that moment on, I've always wanted to try and make the world a better place. I've always wanted to contribute to music. I've always wanted to contribute to things better. This just helps bring it all together. And I am in a completely different place in a different direction now because of it. Like I have no interest in enriching myself, like I have no huge dreams of, being super wealthy for the sake of being rich.
Right.
It's just not there, man. Like I find more joy in life sticking to and enduring relationships in situations that are more troublesome to me that benefit other people.
Right.
It's better, and I think that's a better way to live. I guess everything's different for everyone, but I look at, because I was always very confused, man, and this is, I think, one of the reasons I was so attached to the subject. I was very confused with how the church would behave and how Christ behaved in writings. It's
The
like
Catholic Church?
when I say the church, I mean the Christian church in general, like Catholics, Lutherans, Protestants, like Pentecostals, the whole nine yards. I mean, I feel like now how you interpret certain specific dogmas is whatever, but I think the general idea of the church is Christ was the example. You're supposed to try and live like him.
Right.
Simple assessment. And it astonishes me. Like I read the Bible, and I've always loved the character of Christ. This is someone who always defended weak people. If you look at the political scenarios, I always try and like model things. If I were there, what would it look like politically and culturally in the time? So I think about it, and I'm like, I kind of put myself in there in the moment when I'm reading it. Like, what did it look like? Who were the Pharisees? Who were the Sadducees? Who were the temple priests? What did all this shit look like? So the political upheaval that was going on in the time of Christ was there was a very, how do I put this? There's a very strict relationship between the priests,
Mm-hmm.
the Pharisees and the Sadducees, you know, the people, the Jews, and the Romans. The Romans were the ones in power, and they had to walk a very fine line, So the temple priest did, in order to keep their priesthood and their culture intact. I feel like that was part of their political motivation. Um, but the people, the impoverished who were treated as slaves by the Roman culture, they wanted a king, a king of the Jews.
Mm.
So what do we have? This Christ guy comes out and he's just talking to people and being a part of the culture that's there. The priesthood was a part of the culture. He's coming and he's talking about how a human should behave and all this other shit. So this guy's not afraid to speak publicly. So the people are empowered by him. They want to name him king. He's now drawing these crowds. And the temple priests are standing there watching, looking like, oh man, this guy's going to be a problem. He's making too much noise. Like, we have to shut him up. We could lose our whole priesthood. Like, what are the Romans going to think if this is what I assume was kind of going on at the time. I think it's why the mockery came of Christ, where they put INRI on the top of the cross. It said King of the Jews. I think it was a mockery from the Roman soldiers, because the people wanted him to be a literal king of the Jews, because they wanted to separate themselves from Rome and the priests. Like, they wanted a new revolution. And ironically, Christ wanted to give them that, but it had nothing to do with the political structure of it. But yeah, you look at Christ in these situations, and he didn't care about the consequences. He wasn't thinking when he called out the Pharisees and the Sadducees and pointing out their hypocrisies in public, embarrassing them in front of people. He didn't care about what the consequence was going to be. He wasn't thinking like, oh man, these people might want to kill me. Oh man, this could make my life hard. Like, he didn't give a shit. He took it all on. He was a rebel, man. And he rebelled against fear. He rebelled against bigotry and hatred and separation. I look at the stuff that he talked about, love thy neighbor as thyself. Like, we need to try and love each other a little bit more here. So much of that has gotten twisted, and the meaning of the church. I haven't been telling many people this, but I'm founding a ministry, and I've been building it for the last, I'd say it's been almost a year now. I bought the web domain and whatever, so I'm like trying to organize, put it all together now, called the Red Shield. And its whole purpose, dude, it's going to be kind of like a Project Veritas of the church, because I think it's so vital and it's so important that the actual purpose and the truth of what Christ was has been manipulated. It's been sullied. It's been destroyed. And the entire image of it is wrong. It's been wrong. And I don't blame people. I used to be one of them. I don't blame people anymore for hating the church, or, I expect a lot of my friends probably right now are going to be like, oh, wow, dude, you're a Jesus freak now. Like, I understand why they think that way, because it's just been one hypocrisy after the next. The church has done horrible, horrible shit, and it's wrong. It's all wrong. I feel like we need a revolution and a redefinition of spiritual culture in this country, and I'm like, it's ironic, man, because I've always been super fond. It's probably my favorite story of the Bible, David and Goliath, where you got this little kid basically who used to get picked on by his brothers and shit. And they're like, you're not going to be anybody ever. And, he just smacks out this giant with a rock,
Right.
Like, that's actually why I call it the Red Shield. That's where that comes from. I think it's insane to think that I could take something like that on. But again, it's not about like whether I'm going to succeed or not. I think this is I believe in this. I'm passionate about it. It's something that needs to happen, like, we need to start loving each other again. We need to start focusing on the truth. We need to have the courage to hold these people accountable in public, no matter what we're going to lose in the process, even if it means our lives. Like, I don't care what I lose. And you know what? I have minimized my life as much as possible. Like, I live in a small 1-bedroom apartment. Like, my material possessions are very minimal. I only keep like the nice things that I want, like for audio recording and stuff like that. I got like an Xbox and some games. Like I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. That's all I want. I don't want a big house. I to be safe, secure, and this is what I want. Because when the time comes where I know it's going to come and they're going to try and take it away from me, there's nothing they can take. They can't take it because I don't have
Who's
it.
they?
Because I don't want it. I think the people that want to have the same people that and forces that have been trying to destroy this message and delude this message from the beginning of time.
Which
for
are,
lack of a better word, evil. I don't know how to describe it. Like I believe in pure evil. I believe in evil entities. Like, you know, call
like
me crazy,
demons
man.
and stuff, and like
absolutely.
Oh shit!
Totally.
You ever seen the show Evil?
Yes, I love that show.
That show's fucking good, dude. For an ABC show,
excellent.
Like,
yeah, I haven't seen season 2 yet. I keep putting off because Sarah
it's
and
scary as fuck.
It's great. It's totally great, man.
Yeah, I was surprised because I was like, damn, typically those NBC shows are fucking trash, but that one was fucking good. Sorry to completely go off.
Oh, no, that's all right.
It reminded me of that because they do a very good job of talking about good and evil in that.
Yeah, that's a great show. Yeah, dude, actually, I understand it's all speculative. See, I've been picking up all these loose details from different conspiracy theories and different information, and I feel like that's the one thing I do is I pull all these different pieces from other things, and I'm able to almost globalize them and put them into one. And I think a lot of this has been about destroying man and man's natural structure. You know, a lot of the evil shit that's out there. Why it is the way it is, or all the technical details on it, I don't know, dude. But I've experienced way too many things in life for something not to be there. I've always known that there's something else there. I mean, I've seen shit, dude. Like I've had visions throughout my life, and you know, people can believe it or not believe it. It's just, dude, I've always had intuitions about people, very clear intuitions, down to very specific details of their life when I was younger. A lot of people can testify to this too, where they've actually seen it. You know, people I don't even know, man. Well, I would have an awareness of certain specific things, like them being in a room with a person that was like wearing certain clothing. Like, yeah, this person in the red shirt was doing this, you know, and it would always be showing me things of important pieces of their life, usually that were related to extreme pain and trauma. And again, maybe that's because like I can identify it with myself.
Right.
And that's what all of this is about, dude. It's about healing the pain and trauma. I am convinced that this world and this country suffers from PTSD, you know, and addictive behaviors. And everybody's got their poison. Everybody's got their way of dealing with it. And I think there's only one remedy. There's only one remedy. People don't want to accept reality for what it is. They don't want to see it for whatever reason. I think some people try. Some people want to ignore it entirely. But I don't think anybody can really dispute that we have a very serious problem on our hands. Like as time passes by and we start to see some of the shit that gets exposed, you know, like, I mean, who knew about human child trafficking and the evils of the porn industry,
right,
outside of the last 5 years, you know,
right.
I mean, you know, like the dark web showed people, I mean, and this shit's been going on forever. It's not like just, magically all of a sudden. Right. I mean, dude, the human child trafficking industry is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. Right. You know, these are kids that are kidnapped and taken. Dude, Sarah almost got yanked up once in California. She was telling me about it. They've got all these signs up out there, call modeling agency, blah, 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 blah. They have literal people walk around, snatch your kid and sell them to pedophiles, dude. Damn. You know, I mean, some of these people have been trafficked, dude, hundreds and hundreds of times in a year. That's a problem. Yeah. That's a problem, you know?
That's a huge thing. I actually talked to Joe Dugan. He's the head of the crimes against children or whatever in Maryland for the Maryland State Troopers, and he's the one that's always like going undercover and pretending to be a kid and like setting people up and like arresting them over state stuff. And some of the shit he told me, I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, I told him, I was like, well, with COVID, everything shutting down, it had to get better, right? He said, no, actually, it got like about 4 times worse because now everybody was forced to go on their computers and forced to go on their phones. Then that's where all the pedophiles moved to, was back to the internet versus physically going out, like a Chris Hansen type deal.
Right.
Crazy.
It's hideous. It's funny, man, because like you say I'm intelligent, and it's I appreciate that, but I feel like I'm just kind of naive in a sense too,
Right.
uh, because I expect people to be more than they are, and I something I can never figure out. I'm finally starting to accept it. Um, I couldn't figure out for the life of me why I would bring these subjects up and why I'd start to talk about this shit, and they just didn't want to hear about it. Like they wouldn't regard it. Like a lot of people, they'll just act like they didn't even hear you.
Yeah.
And I realized because they do this because they don't want the uncomfortability of having to face the subject.
Super uncomfortable. Yep. Especially that
Yeah.
topic.
How fucking selfish is that?
Yeah.
How disgustingly selfish is that? What kind of a piece of shit do you have to be in your life not to be able to talk about something, have an awareness? Once again, oh, let somebody else deal with kids getting raped.
Right.
I don't want to talk about that. It'll ruin my day. It'll put me in a bad mood. Like, that is the problem, dude.
Yep.
And that is why we are faced with the things that we are. It's selfishness. It all comes back to selfishness. It's what it is.
Yeah.
All the negative attributes that we have in a culture relate back to selfishness, and that's where this whole Christ thing comes to play. I feel like he was the opposite of that.
Yeah.
The total opposite. And I hope to create the programs and the systems in place to at least bring an awareness to it.
Yeah.
And shine a light on some of the corruption that exists, because I feel like there's a whole world out there that, even though we've got so many great journalistic system, like for instance, I bring up Project Veritas. There's a lot of great journalists and a lot of excellent content creators out there that are creating awareness for things. There's a whole underworld out there that isn't being touched.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's got to happen.
Yeah. No, I fucking like doing this podcast, honestly, man, opened up my eyes to a lot of shit. Like I didn't even know, obviously, who Jimmy Savile is.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who he was until I was talking to someone about Epstein, and then Epstein dug me a little bit further into Jimmy Savile. And I'm like, dude, like, what the fuck? And now you got Netflix in 4 days or 3 days coming out with a documentary about Jimmy Savile.
Yep.
I don't know how much they're going to touch on the child side of things, and the last ride or whatever, the boat trips and stuff that he would do with children, and like, and then of course, I lived in Pennsylvania for many years, and Penn State was a big thing. And when Sandusky came out, it's just like, what the fuck? These people are in these like children funneling situations that are right in front of your face. And Paterno, whatever his name, like the head coach knew about it for years. And it's fucking crazy, man, that these people are put in these situations. But Jimmy Savile was one that really kind of fucked with me a lot, because he was knighted by the fucking queen, man.
Yeah.
Like he was rolling, like he was even higher than Epstein. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just in the circles he was in, it was just like, what the fuck?
You could see when you go back and you watch the Savile footage of him, you can see this arrogance on his face. Like he knows he's untouchable.
Yes. Yeah. The trailer of the Netflix documentary shows that he's just like so like open and flamboyant about it, and just like, I'm not untouchable. I mean, the stuff he would do on national television to people was like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're ballsy as shit, but you're untouchable, man.
Yep.
Crazy stuff.
It's people that allow that motherfucker to exist. Human 100%. Beings allow that shit. It's mind blowing to me.
I have a question. Unless if you want to, what were you about to say?
Nothing. I was gonna mention something vague about something I watched on him with I won't get into too many graphic details, but it was children and corpses, basically. I mean, this guy used to just dump bodies, apparently. But I don't know enough information about that. I can't remember enough about the information about it to elaborate on that. But yeah, dude, it goes like way deeper with Savile. I mean, he had entire systems, and like they always target impoverished kids.
Of course, yeah.
How do you impoverish a community? Like
Yeah.
that's the next question. How do you accomplish poverty? Marxism, communism, keep people dependent. It's the same thing with periods. You need vulnerability in order to take advantage of children in this way.
Yep.
So you take their power away.
Yep.
I think we're seeing really, I'm not, saying that there's this grand conspiracy to I don't know, mass molest children, but I think it's interesting that we're seeing a lot of these people connected. Their names come up in certain subjects and situations, and I want to be careful about what I say. I don't want to say too much, but what are a couple names I can mention? Well, we all know about Epstein.
Yeah. Just talk about Sandusky. I mean, he actually himself ran underprivileged children foundations. He had a funnel of children, and then the football programs they would have. Oh, Penn State coach is going to help my children. Fuck yeah! Like,
right?
It's Sabo had the same thing. It's fucking bananas.
Yep, it's nuts. It's yeah. You have to wonder, like, how does someone see? Here's the question. This is why I come back to evil being present, and I believe in conscious evil. You have to ask yourself the question, and I'm sure you have. How does someone get this corrupt? How does someone get this fucked up? To where you not only want to have some sort of sexual relation with a child, you want to force it upon them. And hey, not only that, you want to create an entire system, an entire industry wrap around you to keep it going in the pipeline. No matter what you have to do, this is your main thing. I don't believe that develops, And I guess there's an argument there and a debate about if, you're born this way and nature versus nurture and whatever other shit. But either way, like what the existence is of this, I'm sorry, dude, it's evil. It's pure evil. You can't tell me when you look in the eyes of Jimmy Savile or you look in the face of Jeffrey Epstein that this is just human nature,
Right.
Like,
no, that's not natural.
No, absolutely not.
No. Well, do you think it's the like with children in particular, like the conspiracy of like the what's it called when they sacrifice children and when they're like heightened and then they drink blood? What's it?
I've heard about this.
Not adrenaline.
Adrenochrome.
Right.
Yeah. So I think a lot of that came from I think a lot of the discussion came from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Hunter S. Thompson. He's like my favorite author. There is a moment where it's in the movie too, where Johnny Depp's in the hospital and he's dropping the drops of adrenochrome, and the lawyer's talking about Benicio del Toro is playing the lawyer, and he's like, got it from a Satanist freak, pure adrenochrome. That's where I think a lot of that comes from. Now there's other claims, that came out of the Southern District of New York, that there was a video circulating and some, see, here's the thing. Some of this stuff I think is partially true. And this shit does exist on the dark web, dude. Like there are snuff videos. There is shit like that out there. Yep. These things do happen. And there is a sick underground. At the same time, I think it's messed with folk tales. That's kind of seems to be the thing in human culture, whether all over the world, man. Like it's truth mixed with bullshit.
Sure.
Do I think it's possible? I think this is what I think. I think that, and this is a fact, this is indisputable. There is a huge blood consumption industry where rich assholes are buying lots of blood. And children's blood is the best. And they do this to extend their health and the life of their bodies. That's why these motherfuckers, like some of these people, you're like, why aren't they dead yet? They're like 102, right. How the fuck do they get to be so old? Well, they're injecting blood, like there are treatments that you can do. So when you think about it, like how you put it in its form, you are kind of consuming the blood of a child.
Right. Just not in the way that it's being portrayed.
Right. Which could still be fucked up.
Right.
So do I think that there are some very deep evil subcultures? I had to spend a lot of time on this one, man, because I became so divided. I found my place when the elections, 2016 election were going on, especially like 2020 election. I found myself by the end of 2020, I found myself so outside of the circle on both sides. You know, because I used to get so mad at some of these conspiracy theorist people
Mhm.
because they're just batshit crazy. Like you talk about the adrenochrome shit. They're just super convinced no matter what you say. If you even so much as ask for evidence or try and call them out, like, hey, listen, this isn't true. If you find a quote that's wrong and you point it out, like, that's bullshit. He never said, I think, what was the one? Mel Gibson. That's one of the ones that was
Yeah.
flying around. With the blood of Hollywood feeds on the blood of
Tom
children.
Hanks too.
So Mel Gibson, there's this meme goes around. A lot of people in these conspiracy groups say that he said that Hollywood feeds on the blood of children. Okay, this never happened. It takes 5 seconds to look up this information and see that it's wrong. So you try and talk to these people like, hey, that's false. Like, I'm with you. I'm on your side. I agree that there is a problem with children being trafficked and in some cases sacrificed. There is some weird shit that goes on out there, but this isn't true.
Yeah, this ain't
And
it.
they don't care. They double down on it. They're just like, no, it's true, blah, blah, blah. Like, they're just as bad as the ones who ignore the shit, man.
Right.
Like, and say it doesn't exist. So I
Yeah.
found myself like on the outside of these worlds after all, because these subjects didn't really start coming into light until 2016.
I would say 16 is when shit really started to come out with this stuff particularly.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, I remember talking about Epstein way before that. And people would tell me all the time. I've gotten used to it now. I'm at the point where I'm like, now I'm finally used to it. They're like, you're crazy. That's not it. There's no way something like that could be going on.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, all right, man. And Here we are. Fast forward the clock.
Yep.
I have a theory. It's total speculation. I have nothing to back this up, but I
this is my favorite type.
I think that I don't think Epstein killed himself, and
Okay.
I think he's working with the government or whoever. I think he turned state's evidence. I think that's what's happening.
Really?
Totally. I think he's exposing the whole system. Totally. Yeah. You're
It's
talking
funny
about a guy who is completely invested in self-interest. Yeah.
I said that on my episode I did with my buddy Mike Stewart, the black belt jiu-jitsu guy at his dojo. I think it was because this is right when Epstein killed himself. And I actually talked to you about this, and you gave me this idea, and I started doing some looking at, some research and stuff like that. And I came to the same conclusion of like, I don't think he killed himself. I don't think the Clintons killed him. I think that they faked his death so they can gather more information from him.
Yep. So, and here's the thing. This is like why I point to this. I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before. Actually, I did a short video on this. In, what was it, 2017? By February of 2017, when Sessions was named Attorney General by Trump, human trafficking and child arrests had gone up over 1,000%. There was over 75,000 arrests made in the first, the first quarter of.
Yeah, Trump really hit that
after
hard.
Trump's. Yeah, actually, no, it was the first 45 days. That's right. This is way long ago. Dude, I consumed all the data. I provided the links. I depth research, like listed the counties. I think I still might have the video. I don't think I took it down. Actually, maybe I did. I don't know. I got to figure it out. But yeah, I started on the subject because right when this started to form, I saw what was going on with the Department of Homeland Security and what Trump did with it. He completely changed it and turned it. I played the commercial in the video as well, where you see it flashes on. There's a guy walking down the street, and they draw attention to slave labor and human child trafficking in this Homeland Security commercial, and pointing out and reporting it. So now, Department of Homeland Security was created during the Bush administration as a result of 9/11. Governor Ridge from Pennsylvania was in charge of this. This had nothing to do with human child trafficking at all. Okay. Some of the first executive orders that Trump signed were human child trafficking orders. Okay, so this is evidence that this is an issue that is very important to him. All right, this is what he's dealing with. He's exposing it. He's bringing it in the national dialogue now. He's making this a major concern. It's one of his top 5 initiatives to expose it and deal with it. Now, wouldn't you say he was in kind of some circles where a couple people had these issues, like say
Epstein,
Bill Clinton, Jeffrey Epstein? Like he knew these people, you know. Like you have record of him banning Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. He did that. That's indisputable. But the media never likes to talk about this shit. So from day one, he has been at this. Now, Bill Barr is Attorney General when Epstein kills himself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that with Donald Trump in the White House and Jeffrey Epstein as an asset, that they would let that fucking guy die? No. You're not playing children here, man. Like, I don't care if you love Donald Trump, you hate Donald Trump. There's one thing that you can say about Donald Trump, and that is he is nowhere near stupid, dude. The guy is stupid smart. He may not be able to express himself coherently sometimes, but dude, he's a genius, you know. Not gonna let his big winning lottery ticket just burn up and disappear. So yeah, and then you have like rumors of I mean, here's another thing like people don't talk about, which is why these podcasts matter and discussing these things matters, because we really need to take the media back because they're not doing their fucking jobs. This is how people get created awareness now. And if you don't have $1 billion behind you, you know, it's easy for the industries to call you crazy and conspiracy theorists. Doesn't matter what you're saying is truthful or not. There's talk of, and I've got 2 different friends in the military. One has been in the military for over 20 years, and they don't tell me any kind of like crazy shit. But during the, what was it? I think it was 2017. There were rumors of the National Guard running operations throughout the country, and sounded like, let's see, guys would report on hearing what sounded like bombs being, and you'll notice there was like a lot of earthquakes popping up through some of these areas where there's alleged underground tunnels and underground areas. And once again, you go into the history of the United States, dude, we have massive underground tunnel systems here. It's insane, you know. Look into that one. I don't know if you know anything about that.
Like the national parks too, I think.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, this shit has been going on, dude. You go all the way back into biblical times. All right. You go and culturally across the world, you know, child sacrifice has been a thing. It's there, you know. And you have to put these pieces together for yourself and see patterns. I look at the algorithms, and I pattern recognition, I guess is what they call it. I recognize patterns, and I can put these similarities together. Like I was telling you about the whatchamacallit, the documentary I sent you on the sounds. I'm actually in the process now of collecting all this data with these sounds, and I'm going to clip them all together so you can hear the sounds of whatever these creatures are, dude. I think they sound demonic and evil. Like
the skinwalkers and stuff. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, dude. Like, listen to that audio and tell me that you don't.
The 411 missing people thing.
Yeah.
Dude, stop. Like, I love hiking. I love going out in national parks. I'm not gonna let you ruin this for me right now. I just Googled, does the US have underground tunnels? There's nothing quite so mysterious as a deep, dark tunnel leading into the unknown. America is riddled with abandoned tunnels that continue to fascinate with their incredible histories and beautiful construction.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Yep. Yeah. It brings the term right beneath the surface to a whole new meaning, dude. It's all right there.
But back to your theory about Epstein of him being
I think that they're mapping out the entire systems because, you know, like I said, the human child trafficking industry, you have to understand, man, these people, or if they're even people, because I think it's a relationship of people and evil. entities, separate beings. That's a whole nother rabbit hole I'm not even going to go down. That's another in detailed subject. But these people have to have a system in place because they can't do it in front of people.
Right.
Now they've gotten comfortable, where they've let certain shit leak out. I guess you get to the point where you become such a godlike status where you just start to ignore the rule of law, which again, ironically, we're seeing a complete and total destruction of the rule of law.
Right.
They're trying to dismantle it completely. And what's beautiful about the law is it's the same for everyone. Doesn't matter what your fucking gender is, doesn't matter what your nationality is, anything at all. The law is the same for all of us,
Right,
and should be applied equally. That's why it matters. They want to dismantle this. So I think, if you have all the resources in the world to do it, why not create in a completely ulterior life in an underground system where you can be whoever you want to be? Like what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is they're trying to turn that into above grounds. I think you can see it trending, like what they're trying to do. You have to read between the lines, obviously, and you have to be smart to see the patterns of what they do and how they do it. But I think that's what they're trying to accomplish above ground. I think they're trying to make you can see it with YouTube, dude. You can see with what they're putting in schools with children's health educations. Like, look at the fucking books some of these kids are reading, dude. It's mind blowing. If I had a child in school, and what do you have out of this administration that just came out? The whole notice from the FBI to parents, which, yeah, there were some couple crazy cases out there where parents showed up and they were threatening the school boards. And yes, these people are assholes, but the FBI, out of all the shit they have to worry about that's going on in the world, they're going after the parents. Well, why? Why are the parents showing up and why are they so enraged? Because children are being taught some of the most foul, disgusting things. It's astonishing. And I'm not talking about awareness of body parts and shit like that. Have you read some of this shit? No. Oh, dude. You gotta look into some of this, man. It's disgusting what children.
What do you mean, like in health class?
Yes, sexual education. Yes. It's not as simple anymore as girls have a vagina and boys have a penis. Like, dude, they get into some fucked up shit. Yeah,
like trans stuff.
Yes, that. Okay. And here, man, let me see if I can find it. I'll try and dig up a couple links. I don't have them right on hand, but yeah, I'll dig up the links, dude. Okay. Why these parents are so pissed off? Right. Dude, that's why the elections just went in Virginia the way they went. Because that's fuck people's kids, man.
Right.
And they know this, so yeah, they have to hide it and cover it up. It's this. Damn it, dude. I'm trying to think of the one book. I can't remember what it is, man. But yeah, they're actually talking about sexual processes, like how to give a blowjob, how to pleasure yourself. Yes, dude. Yeah. Yep. So they're trying to indoctrinate this so they can bring it into the surface. That's what this is all about. It's not just about a system of screwing kids, although for some reason they seem to love that. It seems to be a part of it. They seem to create entire systems. Like, dude, fucking Catholic Church. I mean, right. Dude, have you ever what is it? The Keepers, I believe it's called. Have you watched that?
Is that a movie?
No, it's a documentary on Netflix.
It is, with the nuns.
Yes.
Yep. It looks scary, so I didn't watch it.
Dude, it's it'll blow your fucking mind.
Is it scary? It looks like a demonic type.
No.
Oh, fuck. Right.
No, it's not about evil shit. No. Yeah, it's about the Catholic Church and pedophilia and rape and shit. It's
all right. I'll check it out.
It's mind-blowing.
Well, let me ask you though, because okay, so you think that Epstein is working with the government and he is there kind of like, ace in the pocket, where it's like he's now mapping all of this stuff out behind the scenes. We faked his death. No one's talks about it fucking ever again now. Yep. Ghislaine gets arrested and convicted on 5 of 6 counts. That was not a big deal. It wasn't in the media like it should have, like Epstein's was in the beginning. Right. They downplayed that. Who knows what's going to happen to her? But so what?
Heard a lot about Will Smith and Chris Rock though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I was definitely taken back of like, yo, they actually caught Ghislaine. She was convicted of 5 of 6, and like, I think her sentences is this month actually, or was it? I don't know. It's either this month or it was last month. But my question to you is, what do you think is the conclusion going to be? Because you have a new administration in office now. They're definitely not talking about child trafficking and stuff like that, like the Trump administration was. Is that still going on? Are they going to map it out? Are they going to get the Clintons? Are they going to get these people that are, involved, or what?
Okay, so I'm going to be very careful about what I'm going to say. You have to be careful now. The thought police are in control.
Oh, you mean like my listeners and watchers?
No.
Oh.
No. I mean, the people that make decisions about content.
Yeah. Okay.
How do I word this? Let's see. All right, so I think that the institution, and when I say institution, the government and its different parts, like you've got DHS, NHL, all these different letter,
the ABCs.
Whatevers.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Alphabet boys.
I think that there is a huge division that has occurred. I think I have a theory that occurred in 2012. I think that again, speculation, this is what I think. I think that Ron Paul, if he didn't win the election, that they were going, and this is when you started to see Michael Flynn's name flying around. I think that they decided, and when I say they, I mean people, good people in the system who were tired of seeing the things that they were seeing. I think that they made a decision that they had to do something. They had to get somebody in power. And almost like a coup was going to happen if Ron Paul didn't win and Barack Obama won.
Right.
Well, Barack Obama wins. That's when you see Michael Flynn starting to get trashed. And I think Michael Flynn was at the helm of this. I think that was what the plan was. And I think they planned this. I think they pulled in the big guy. No, actually, no, not the big guy. That's who Joe Biden is. Apparently, according to Hunter Biden's emails, he's referred to as the big guy. Pardon my correct. Let me correct myself. Trump. I think Trump was planned. I think he was picked and he was planned
because they knew he would win.
Plus, I think in a sense, I don't think he's some angel or some, like sinless human being, but I think he's incorruptible as far as certain things go.
For sure.
They just can't pin certain things on him. That's why this shit never sticks. So he gets into power. We create an awareness, all this. I think they knew, honestly. I used to be very disappointed because I thought we lost, I thought a lot was lost. And I've come to understand that nothing's been lost. This is only the illusion. It looks like it's been lost. I think that these people have almost completely lost their power. And I think that these institutions are divided. And I think that we are going to, I do believe it's about to get worse. I think we're going to see some more problems. And I was right. I predicted this shit a few months back before this whole Ukrainian-Russian thing, before gas prices went up. Dude, I don't know if you remember me going off on the rants about it, but I told everyone specifically, I was like, dude, the cost of everything is going to skyrocket. Watch, pay attention.
I think I remember you talking about that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. It was fucking year ago I was talking about this shit. If this asshole wins, like, this is what's going to occur. So I'm going to say it again. I think that it's going to get worse. I could be wrong about this, but I just feel like there's going to be there's one more big whammy coming, man. An animal is most threatened when you have it cornered. So, and that's when they're the most dangerous. Right. So I hope I'm wrong, but I think one more major shitstorm is.
What do you mean, like a Putin hitting the nuke button or something?
I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. I have no idea. I think, dude, the whole Russia-Ukraine situation, that's another fucking,
that was crazy
rabbit hole with the bio labs and shit, like, dude, that was one of the first things I actually put up about it. There are more things going on right now. There are so many different layers, and it's not just the United States. People have this illusion that because they live in the United States, that this is the only thing that's happening, and the things that happen in the United States are completely isolated. Like, no, man, we're in a world stage where, there are governments and systems in place and billions of dollars in financial systems.
Right.
So, all these things are working hand in hand as a mechanism that's working together. So a lot of these things correlate, and, one affects the other. So the Russian-Ukraine situation isn't just Russia and Ukraine. Like, there's parts of it, like basically what I'm trying to say is the whole world is going through division and a transition. Like I don't know if you saw the Saudi royal family, all those dudes going to fucking jail. Like that story was crazy. Yeah, check that one out. Just type in like royal family going to jail. That was a while back, but if you look, you're seeing that all these major changes are taking place, and I think that's because there is, I feel like the good people, for lack of a better word, are trying to divide themselves and take these institutions back.
Right.
And that's what you're seeing is the split right down the middle right now. It's almost like, we have this administration, but I mean, who's in control, dude? Who's calling the shots?
Right.
Is it Captain Sniffy? Because I can't tell. Like who's at the wheel, man? Nobody really knows.
Yeah, no, that's a good question.
I think you're going to see the shitstorm extend a bit longer, but I think, the promised land is coming. I think that the Red Sea is getting ready to part, and Pharaoh's army is right behind us, and the water's going to crash in on them soon. It doesn't look that way. Right. It looks like, we're headed for peril and destruction, but I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I think I don't think we're going to see necessarily what a lot of people want to see, which is, mass incarceration of a lot of these corrupt people.
Yeah.
Then again, we might. I don't know. I think it's maybe that'll happen at the very end. It can't happen now. Like I think control has to be regained first. And then, again, a lot of people, you think about it, like I forget. I've been looking at this shit close up my whole life. I've been paying attention to this. Most people haven't. They have no idea. They just learned about the corruption in their government now, thanks to this current administration. They didn't realize, like, even though people told them, people have to learn it for themselves,
Right.
I remember saying it at the election, and I was just like mind blown when I found out that he won. And I was like, some people need to see hell before they believe it exists.
Right.
So, they're getting a taste of it now.
Yeah.
And that would have never happened. There has to be an awareness in order for things to change. The first thing has to be awareness. Nothing can change if you're not aware of what the problem is. Right. So people had to be made aware of what's going on. That's how you change it. Now the people are becoming aware and they know these things. I mean, they're less likely to repeat the cycle.
Sure.
Instead of having to go through this shit every 4 to 8 years with who's in power and
I know it's crazy.
Like the mystery corruptions and all this other shit.
Yeah, it's so broken. Okay, well, so first things first, we're going on now over 2 hours, like of actual footage that I'll use, not the 45 minutes we talked before we got on. Wow. But so here's what I was thinking. Because there's a lot of I feel like the whole Shroud of Turin thing took up like more than half of it, which is like I never knew about that. I was not expecting to talk about that. So
that's funny because that's the one thing I picked. I wanted to talk about.
Oh, I did not know that we were going to talk about that. So I'd rather have you, honestly, if you want, come on like more frequently, and then just like we'll pick, or I'll ask people, hey, what conspiracy do you want to talk about? And then we could just talk about that one, like if you want to.
I'd love to, dude.
Okay,
totally.
Cool. Yeah, I would like that because I think from what I found is like Joe Rogan can go and talk to someone for 4 hours. I can't. Like, right. Literally an hour and a half in, people are like, okay, like I'm done, unless it's like really committed. So what I don't want to do is talk about other stuff half-ass because you have so much knowledge about that. I mean, we could probably do 2 or 3 episodes just on the fucking the Shroud of Turin by itself.
Dude, I knew I've like spent my whole life doing this for a reason, and like the reason is starting to come to fruition now. Like before, I never knew. I'm like, why the fuck am I an information junkie who fucking sleeps for 3 hours every 5 fucking days, and I'm up at 4 a.m. like reading about the complex fucking dynamics of a fucking lawnmower blade, like and it's, now it makes sense. Like now I get it. Like
to go on a podcast to talk about it. Yeah.
Awareness, spread the awareness.
No,
seriously. Lawnmower blades.
Because what I found is I am to all my listeners and watchers, I'm going to talk about TikTok again. What I found is the algorithm that works for me to grow my YouTube channel is to make sure my TikTok is popping. My first TikTok, I got like,
see, I don't have TikTok. Fuck, man.
Bro,
I get it.
listen. I started TikTok. My YouTube channel was growing not at all. Like I had like 200 subscribers, right? Nothing.
Right.
And I was putting out like, I mean, my guests are fucking amazing. Like I don't like, they're crazy smart. They're crazy interesting people. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? This thing's got like 25 views. This is an astronaut talking about us going to Mars. Like what?
Right.
And then
do you actually have a quick question? Do you support ads financially? Do you create any ads?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. No, I have sponsors now. I have I just got monetized 2 weeks ago. Because I have now 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I have over 20,000 listeners a month audibly though. So I have a good following on like actual podcast. Visual, a little different. Because audio, they can listen to it at the gym, when they're driving to school or work, like it's totally different. And I've optimized my YouTube very well. But what I found was last year I started my TikTok, and I mean, I'm talking like tens of millions of views. Like it blew the fuck up. That grew me to like 600, like literally in like a month. But then I got banned because of the content that I was putting out. I got shadow banned. So it stopped completely. Like I was not getting millions of views anymore. I was like, fuck this. So I took off like 4 months, and I just started last month another TikTok, brand new account. And now like all my videos, my last like 5 or 6 videos are all over 250, 300,000 views. I just got overnight, I got 1,200 new followers on TikTok. My YouTube channel in the last month has went from 600 subs to now I'm at 1,200 subs in a month. And that's just me posting once a week. I'm actually about to double down and post twice a week now, because I feel like that's getting out more content is really going to help with the YouTube algorithm.
Well, so here's the deal. Like, dude, it's funny because like I was already going to do all this shit myself anyway.
Right.
Right when you asked me this, like my timeline, I've got like a month of super hard fucking grueling work left for this business. I literally have every single fucking day planned out. Right. And then I was going to start launching my shit, which I don't want to call it a podcast, something like that, but I had actually a unique idea. But I think like, yeah, dude, I would love to focus on doing some more of this. But I also would like to, again, like you said, maybe like detail and organize the subject matter a bit better.
Oh yeah.
That'll also help with the editing, and I know the entertainment business, dude. So, I know how to coin phrases, and I need to calculate what I'm going to say better in a more linear order. Like I know how to do all that shit and make it sound real well. So I'm like totally down, man. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, well, I think I would be better because what I do is I'll take this 2-hour long episode. I myself will trim it, and then I will actually take 60-second to 10-second clips, and I'll send them to actually a guy on Fiverr that I have on Fiverr, which is like a third-party company. If you've heard of it, it's great. Like I give him like $60 and he'll make me like 30 clips with font on it and text, and it saves me, dude, hours of time for nothing. Right. So but what I was going to say, so what I do is for all my guests, I typically I'll break down the clip. I give you the whole audio, I give you the whole video. I break down the clips into 60-second or less videos, so you can post on TikTok, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, all that stuff. I also have a second channel that's just clips. And kind of like what you're seeing on YouTube with Joe Rogan, those are all his clips channel. Those aren't even his real channel. So like, it's like 7 to 14 minute long snippets of like big conversations. And then those route people back to the original conversation. But dude, I've just found like TikTok has been like a godsend, because I figure out the algorithm. I can post a video and it's 60 seconds and it goes fucking crazy. And then it just grows my YouTube channel.
I can't believe I'm actually considering doing TikTok. I swear,
David, I'm telling you, I promise you, if you want to grow anything around it, you have to have it. Because right now, I post 5 to 6 times a day on TikTok, and it is just it's ridiculous. The amount of growth that I'm seeing on my other channels is fucking bananas, and it is 100% because of it's not because I'm optimizing YouTube on the back end because I know how to do that in marketing and I have sponsors and I have this. None of that. Not one bit of that. It's because of TikTok. Literally, people go to my YouTube channel. I'm here because of TikTok. They comment. I'm like, wow, thanks. Like when I post a good TikTok and it hits 1 million views, I look at my YouTube. Everything is up. Everything. Monetization, subscribers, hours watched, views. It's fucking crazy, bro.
Oh shit.
But anyway, that's what I would like. I would propose is like maybe like once every other week or something like that.
Yep.
You or even once a week. I can harbor all these because none of these are really pressing issues, so I can funnel them out. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to like it because when I take your snippets and talk about the Shroud and talk about Epstein, people are going to fucking bananas in the comments and share it, and it's going to go viral, and I know it's going to do it, and I know they're going to want more of it. And I'm actually going live once a week now on TikTok because they say the algorithm works like if you have a viral video, try to go live during that time, and it really boosts it up. There's a lot of bullshit and a lot of little nuances and stuff like that, but yeah, I would love to have you on a more frequent basis.
Sweet.
Minimum once a month.
Awesome. I'm down, man.
If you
Totally.
Want. Okay.
Yeah. Great.
Cool.
That sounds beautiful. That'll help. That'll help minimize what I'm doing as far as this kind of thing goes too.
Yeah, I mean, and you
obviously,
yeah, I give you have all you can have all the content. I'm gonna obviously tag you in everything I post, but I actually give all my guests their raw content. Professors use it all the time in their actual like in school. They'll show clips and highlights and stuff of the conversation that we're having. It's crazy, man. Right. So I give them, they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. I post it to my own self, but I mean, I give it to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
thank you.
But absolutely. But yeah, anything else?
Yeah. Let me know how else, however I can contribute, whatever.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Like fucking, if you want me to take out an ad or anything.
Oh, no. I got a couple sponsors and stuff like that. I mean, I don't get paid from them. Eventually I will when I hit certain thresholds and I get certain things. My main thing for them is what I'd like to do is I'd like to hit up. I don't know if you know who the guy that wrote the book on Charles Manson being a CIA operative.
I don't know. I know of the book. I don't know the person though.
Hold on. He was on Rogan. He's where is he?
Interesting.
I email him back and forth. Tom. Hold on. Hey, Tom. Oh, Tom O'Neill. Anyway, Tom O'Neill, he wrote the book on Manson being a CIA operative and stuff like that. So, like, for example, for him, he has a fee, right? I've never paid any of my guests ever, not one person. He has a fee. He's someone who I would definitely pay to talk to. His fee's minimal. It's nothing crazy, but I want to get to the point where I can ask my sponsors, like, hey, look, like, can you just pay this fee so I can have this guest on my show? Period. And like that's, I don't want them to give me money. Like I don't care about it. I don't want that. I just want them to like, because there's some high profile people that I want to talk to that are asking me to pay them. I'm like, bro, I'm doing this for fun. Like I don't, I don't have $1,500 to give you or $50,000 to give you to come speak on my hour-long digital podcast. Like go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, I know people like don't give a fuck about what I'm talking about. So what I was gonna say, two things. One, well, I mean, like when I talk about this shit, they're like, oh God, here it goes. I want to play a game quick, and then I want you to give a plug, and then we'll be done.
Cool.
Okay. So this is conspiracy or bullshit. I just made it up before we got on the call. I'm gonna list now 11 because you got me thinking. I had 10, now I have 11. Conspiracy theories, which are things that we'll probably talk about in the future. Each one, it's just going to be like rapid fire. I'm going to say it. You're going to say bullshit or real, right? Is that what we talked about?
Yep.
So if you say bullshit, it's not a conspiracy. It's like, if you say real, it's a real conspiracy.
I feel like I have to announce as a precursor that quite often certain aspects are true and certain aspects are not. But I'll do 100%. A majority, is the majority 100%. Of this bullshit. We'll do it like that. I feel like I had to say that just to be honest, for the sake of honesty.
Well,
So,
yeah. Well, like I said, most of these are probably going to think were things we're going to talk about in the future anyway, and all of them have some sort of evidence or some sort of truth to it for sure. Right. But let me ask you first: do you think saying bullshit or true? Like I want to identify like what would be the best way to say.
Actually, maybe here's 3 good ways to go about it.
Okay.
Bullshit. No, let's just stick with real and bullshit. Yeah, that's
okay.
Fine.
All right. So real conspiracy or bullshit conspiracy.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Ready.
Hold on. I'm gonna put names next to this so I know in the future which ones you think are real or not. Okay. All right. 9/11.
Real.
Okay. Lizard people.
That's so much more complicated. I to a degree, real, yes. That there's an extension there. Like, are there physical lizard people? I don't believe that. No.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Hillary Clinton pulling off her mask and she's a lizard people.
No.
Go.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. All right. Moon landing.
I go back and forth with those, man. Like, man. I would have to say real.
Okay.
Wait, the moon landing is real or the conspiracy about it?
Okay. All right. So I want to make this a 60-second clip or less. Let's start from the top. Just real bullshit or real. Okay. 9/11.
Wait, but what I'm saying is, all right, so you're talking about the conspiracy. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, the actual conspiracy. Like no. Actually, I'm talking about like the actual conspiracy. Like, 9/11 fucking happened, but like, was it a conspiracy or did we really get attacked by?
So the conspiracy is real or the conspiracy is bullshit. Got it. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. No, really going down like 5 rabbit holes. Okay. All right. From the top, 1, 2, 3. Conspiracy or bullshit. 9/11. Real. Okay. Lizard people.
Bullshit.
Moon landing.
Bullshit.
Real. Bullshit. Okay. All right. Flat Earth.
Bullshit.
JFK assassination.
Real.
Roswell.
Real.
UFOs.
Real.
Chemtrails.
Real.
COVID.
Real.
Birds aren't real.
Birds aren't real.
You've never heard of this?
Is that what the fuck you just said? I'm just making sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah, birds aren't real. That's the conspiracy.
Bullshit. Birds aren't real.
The pyramids.
What conspiracy
how they were built.
I feel like there's a couple theories on that. I'm gonna say real.
I think they're real. Okay. All right. And that ends the bullshit or real. Good job, David.
Thank you.
And honestly, like, side note, we'll talk about a lot of these in future episodes, but you've never heard of birds aren't real?
No.
I finally got something that like.
Yeah, you did.
Holy
now I know what I'm going to do with the rest of my fucking evening.
David. Bro, it's fucking crazy. The CIA guy from back in the day said that he worked on a program that birds aren't real. You've had to hear about this. And the government killed all the birds, and then they replaced the birds with mechanical birds, okay, to surveillance and spy on us. The guy came out and did an interview on like national television or whatever, and then he fucking suicides himself, or he dies like in a crazy way. Dude, there's a lot of information out there. Look it up. Trust me, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Or you're going to think it's bullshit.
I still think it's bullshit, but
I know. I'm like, I look at birds all the time. They look real to me.
Yeah, I've like seen dead ones rotting and shit. Like,
yeah, it's like, yeah. But
I mean, then again, I don't know. I believe that, science has just created a fucking whatchamacallit, an organism that can reproduce.
So then, hey, you never know. But you're also talking about back in the 70s. Like, come on, you think they had that technology?
Yeah, 70s. Yeah, that kind of cancels it for me. Well, then again, I don't know, because I feel like they have technology that's fucking 20, 30 years ahead of what we get now. Maybe a little bit different now.
Right. I agree with you there.
But I don't know. I still feel like, I think right now we're getting ready to experience a different um, awareness and connection to a different dimension,
Oh shit.
where things aren't compartmentalized the way they are here. They aren't as dense.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a whole
Write
another
that
thing
down.
to go down. But yeah, I say, the what was it, the moon landing?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different theories on this.
My dad
But,
thinks it's hollow.
There's definitely some fucked up shit with the moon. There's no
My
doubt
dad
about
thinks
that.
my dad's been telling me for years, oh, the moon's hollow. I'm like, what the fuck?
It makes sense. There are a lot of fucking weird anomalies that would actually point to that.
Yeah. Stanley Kubrick.
But so see, here's the thing. It's not that I think, dude, it's possible. It's possible we didn't. Here's the thing, man. I don't know if I can buy the solar system shit either. But I also don't believe in the flat earth theory. I just fucking don't. Okay. And this is usually where I end up in these debates, is I find myself in a place where almost no one exists. It seems like, which is good, because you get these groups of people that are debating it,
Right.
and debate's good, but it's never just black or white, dude. There's always more. So maybe those debates and those theories are the precursors to the next evolution of the debate. Maybe that will refine itself. Maybe it's not a solar system, but maybe it's not a flat earth. Maybe it's something else.
Right.
And we don't know what the answer to that is.
When I just wrote down multi-dimension, solar system, these are all David topics. So good job.
Thanks. And then, I think, dude, I've got a fucking documentary you got to watch. I hoarded this shit. It's completely been wiped from the net. The footage that's in this fucking shit will blow your mind, dude. It's alleged footing of the moon landing, and why, the truth about why. Oh yeah, why we didn't go back, and the truth about it, like existence being on the moon and shit. It wraps up with the Nazis and again, interdimensional, like demonic entity, conscious entities, angelic entities, shit like that. Like, I think that's what aliens are. I have a whole fucking theory. And what's funny is I had this a long time ago, and I never really thought about it I never thought about to like explain it to people more in depth. But I've always thought that aliens are demonic. And you know who I can smell this shit out at this point, dude. Like, I've been doing this long enough. It's fucking Stephen Greer. I submit to you that Stephen Greer is a CIA asset. He's working with the fucking CIA, and he is disseminating propaganda.
You're talking about Dr. Stephen Greer.
Dr. Stephen Greer.
Guess who just emailed me last week?
Who?
Dr. Stephen Greer.
Get the fuck out of here.
I talked to him and his assistant Anna, because I wanted him to come on my podcast.
I bet.
And this is what happened. So I said, hey, blah, blah, blah. Can you come on? She said,
I want to say for the record, like, I haven't made this public yet. I don't want anybody to know my position on that, because I certainly don't want to slander the guy.
Oh, no.
I might be wrong, but yeah, I'll explain why I think that.
Well, they said, yeah, he would love to come on, but what's your viewership? And I'm like, okay, well, I sent him all my stats and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm only about at 20,000 listeners a month. And she was like, well, unfortunately, he wants to be check back when that increases. I'm like, okay, well, first of all, who the fuck are you? Second of all, what number are you looking for? Because I need to have a target. And they said 70,000 plus actively listening. I'm like, okay, that's not that far away. But I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I wanted to email her, be like, well, how much? But yeah, that's so funny you brought them up, because I literally just talked to them last week.
Yeah. So I've done, dude, I followed all kinds of shit on this guy. It's too pristine. It's too clean. All right. And when I say that, like, I've watched all his documentaries multiple fucking times. I've seen every piece of footage that there is that he's got floating around the fucking internet, how obscure it is. There might be something I haven't seen yet, but I fucking doubt it.
Right.
So where the fuck does this guy just magically all of a sudden come from? And why is nobody asking these questions too? Where this is like some of the kind of shit we could do, like a speculative debate kind of thing, just like maybe pose these questions, like who is Stephen Greer and where did he just magically come out of with all this fucking information?
Right.
Why are people, big names in government agencies, just handing him shit and talking to him? The guy's a fucking doctor. He doesn't have a background in government or any of this shit. Like, where did he just magically pop up and now he is the word? He puts himself out there as the rebel, the guy who's going against the system.
Yeah.
And trying to tell the truth. But like, how did he get his podium so well? Why does no one ever challenge him? Where does he get his money to fucking make his fucking films? Because they're high quality.
Yeah.
Like,
he's blowing up.
Yeah. There's, and see, this coincides, dude. It's and it makes perfect sense. Like, I swear to God, I've figured out the fucking grand conspiracy, dude. Aliens are not aliens, okay? They are interdimensional beings. All right. They are not of the physical world. Okay. This is why I don't think that UFOs are of the physical world. Yeah, this shit's gonna take you a whole lever deeper now, man. Just fucking wait. So we agree that in order for something to be in the physical world, it has to agree to the laws of physics, right?
Sure.
Okay. So UFOs do not agree to the laws of physics. When they move, like, why is there no sonic?
They defy physics. Yeah.
Exactly. What else do you know in existence that defies physics?
I don't know anything.
Nothing. Right. I haven't figured anything out yet. So therefore, I submit that they are not of the physical world. I just don't think that they are. I mean, you notice, so I can't explain all the details, but I can give you like supporting information, of a very small percentage of the light spectrum that the human eye can see. It's proven fact. We can only see a very little tiny sliver of the light spectrum.
Sure.
There's an entire existence going on underneath the veil of shit that we don't see, frequencies, energies, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how I made this, made all this shit combine. I don't know how I came to this conclusion, but I just fucking did. I think that aliens are interdimensional beings. I think that a lot of them are evil. I think the people that are having these abduction experiences, because here's the thing, dude, I've had some weird experiences myself. I don't know if you know about the vision that I just
posted about on Facebook. Yeah.
I've had certain experiences in my life. This one was very definitive and very specific. And I know like how people describe their abduction experiences is almost exactly how I can feel that experience. It's almost like they are inside of my head and inside of my emotions, trying to make me feel or think certain things or to control my thoughts. They're doing this. I assume the only way I can describe it is like, it's almost like they have an ability to tune into a frequency and they're emanating it inside of themselves, and they're trying to convince my being to copy that. Like they're trying to convince my being and manipulate my being to whatever frequency they want me to. And I think you hear all these stories about the abduction stories and shit. Now these people became paralyzed with fear. That's how I can describe the feeling that I had in that vision and other experience I've had when I've seen evil shit. But I got to tell you about the vision that I had once when I was younger. But it didn't really formulate in any specific details. It was just feelings and ideas that I had when I would see, like, I'm not going to get into it because it's fucking really long and drawn out.
No, yeah, we could definitely talk about it. I want to talk, 100% on another time. But what were you going to say about?
Yeah, I think they're aliens. I think they're, for lack of a better word, and I hate the word because every word has an association and it's been used a million times. I'm actually in the process of trying to create a different culture of recreating some of these terminologies to describe them better. But demons, partially. I think demons. Yeah, I think a lot of your aliens, I think that they can manipulate the light spectrum. I think that they can change forms. See, when you ask about shape-shifting reptilians, I don't believe that humans can shift into reptilians, but I do believe that there is an existence of another type of being that is not human that can manipulate that on its own level, on its own frequency, on its own dimension. You know, like we have EMF frequencies and we have all these different fucking frequencies and shit. I feel like it just ties in with so much of history, things that have been identified in different cultures through history, things that reappear throughout history. You know, so yeah, that's what I think it is. And I think that Stephen Greer, I think they know that there's a duality. There are two groups of people. And I think they're going to have people that they want people that are going to fight for the inclusion of aliens. Like, oh no, they're here to help us. And then you're going to have the other group of people like, no, they're here for war. No, neither. They're not fucking real. They're not what they're presenting themselves to be. And the people that are bringing out this propaganda know this shit. Okay. And I think this is going to pave the way. What they're trying to do is open a doorway to evil on the planet. I think this has been the plan all along, dude. And it sounds crazy, and it's crazy to me, but it just seems like a lot of the biblical story is truth. You know, it just does, dude. You know, along with some other things like the Epic of Gilgamesh, Sumerians, the Book of Enoch. There are a couple of different cultures out there. I think there's relative truth to a lot of the Egyptian shit. Either way you put it, there is a huge world underneath of this world. And there is evil and there is good. And for some reason, human beings are smack dab in the middle of the shit. I think that these beings hate us. I think they can't stand us. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. I have no idea, but I can feel it. Like I can feel the hatred. And it's not because of anything other than what I am. It's the being that I am. I think that human beings are, again, if you go back to you know, the salvation story and the story of Christ, the church has been teaching this shit wrong the entire time. You know, they tell you about how you're supposed to fucking behave, and you know, God's gonna spank your ass if you say fuck too many times or whatever bullshit. Like they try and instill fear into you and not love, complete opposite. So if man did create a fall somewhere along the lines, you know, because Eve fucked up or something happened, I don't know what that was. The superficial story to me tells me that there's more to that whole fucking layer. But say something did happen and we were separated from God, which that I do believe. And the actions of Christ fixed it. How somehow we're apparently, you know, for instance, if your fucking water pump doesn't work in your car's not going to work. So maybe what he did fixed something in this process so that man could have a relationship with God again. There would definitely be things that would want to destroy that. And if I had to pick the number one place I'd want to be to do it, I'd use the church. I would pick the church. That's where I'd hide, you know, because that's where people are all looking for the fucking answers. So I was explaining how, fuck man, I just lost my train of thought. I was explaining how the church has gotten this all wrong. The church, I feel like the church has become the enemy of the people. Damn, I totally forgot what I was going to say. But anyway, Greer, he is, I believe, propaganda. I think he's CIA. And I think he's trying to manipulate people into believing that these things are aliens and they're friends. And we want them here, involve them in the fucking, there's going to be some kind of hierarchical bullshit system that's going to come with it because we want to incorporate them into our plane. And I think, you know, that's when you're going to see the beginning of the end and subjects like shit like the Antichrist. Dude, did you just see that flash?
Oh.
Oh my God. Like my TV just fucking flashed white as I said that. Go back and play that and see if you can see the flash. My whole fucking TV. I have a 70 some inch fucking TV in front of me right now that I use for my computer monitor. This has never happened before. As soon as I said that shit, the whole screen just flashed white.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. Oh shit.
Dude, this weird shit happens to me all the time.
Well, if I get Greer on, I'm asking him, hey man, Are you the Antichrist?
I don't think he is. I think he's going to help pave the way. I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it.
Well,
if you notice him, watch his behavior in his interviews too. If you even try to question him, it's just like he knows his propaganda, and you can see he gets very angry and gets uncomfortable. Like he gets very short with people if you challenge that in any way. I'm sorry if you're some fucking hippie loving, patchouli stinking festival fucking whatever interdimensional being that's trying to meditate and bring the aliens here. You're doing a poor job of showing the love. Like fucking, I mean, he's like kind of a fucking asshole.
With that, we went full circle. We talked about Jesus Christ again, because you're a pastor now. So
yeah,
no, I'm joking. Well, look, dude, I want you to come on. There's like 15 new topics now that I want to talk about. So if you're down, I would love to have you come on more. If you want to, we can kind of iron out dates and times and like on a weekends or something like that. Just bang out like 2 hours. Cool. I think it's going to be received well, but where can people find you on social media? What kind of stuff do you have going on?
So let's see here. If you go to YouTube or Bandcamp, my music is not on Spotify or Apple Music yet. I'm going to keep that way for now. My own personal solo music. I do all the music, all the artistry, a lot of the recording, engineering, production. That's under Avonn. That's AVONN. And you can find me on YouTube and Bandcamp. My songs are free. You can download them, check them out. And then there is tillthedaysend.com. That's spelled till with 2 L's, TILL, thedaysend.com. It is a music charity project with Spencer Sotelo from Periphery contributing to it. Matt Halpern from Periphery, Matt McJunkins from A Perfect Circle does a track. It's got a few other musicians, guitarists from Vest Ascension. What we do is each individual track we create a song for, and all the proceeds for that go to a specific charity. Depending on what it is, it changes. We've been kind of shut down since COVID, but we're trying to get there back up and running. Yeah, I think that's about it for now.
Cool. And I'll put all of those links in the description below. And if there's anything else like your Instagram, do you have Instagram?
No.
Okay. Get Instagram, get TikTok.
Yep.
Like, trust me, bro. And then if you get them before this airs next either Friday or Monday,
I will. I'll do all that tonight.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll put them in there. But David, man, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. That was an awesome conversation. You fucking blew my mind. And I'm actually fucking fired up for like us talking more, honestly.
Dude, thank you for having me, man. It's an honor and a privilege, seriously.
Absolutely. Thank you. No, I'm super pumped to talk about all the other shit. But that's another episode of the E4 Explicit Podcast. We'll see you next time.